What is up, guys? It is JZNES back again with another video. Today we're talking about Life is Strange Before the Storm. Oh wait, no we're not. We're talking about the movie of Life is Strange Before the Storm, Dawn. The sequel to the other Life is Strange movie, which I already talked about, What If. So, by the same people, um, other than a voice, Max doesn't obviously appear in this movie, but they do make reference to Farewell, and you get the tape from Farewell. I thought that was kind of nice how they added that in there as part of the story. A lot of little things like that happen throughout the movie to tighten things up, and they move around a couple of scenes, and it's really works very effectively. I think their pacing and their way of telling the story almost works better in some senses than how the game did it. And a lot of the content that they cut is like the stuff that you would only want to play in the game and experience there, and it would just slow down the pacing. And they cut it into this lean, I say lean, it's like 2.5 hours long, but it's lean for that story version of Life is Strange Before the Storm. And I think they really did a very effective job with this movie. I almost like this movie better than the original What If movie, even though that was great and, a great work for its time, and I love that movie. I think this movie is shot and acted and just like everything feels better about it, and it feels more accurate to the story of Life is Strange Before the Storm. It is a very accurate adaptation of that game. Now, I understand why that is, because the original Life is Strange there's a lot of like psychological and not psychological, like spirit, like what do you call it? Like magic-y, timey-wimey bullshit going on. There's not really powers in Before the Storm. It was much more a character-focused thing. It was about the story of Rachel, Amber, and Chloe, which they fork-a nailed it, you know? They did it. Like, the casting of Rachel Amber was just great. The girl who played her did a phenomenal job. Her and Chloe have this great chemistry, and right from the beginning, they don't even play around with it. She is, right from the beginning, totally overt and just blatant about how much of a crush she has on Chloe. Which in the game, it's much less so. That way you can take the relationship as just friends if you want to have it. But they went hard on the Chloe-Rachel relationship, and I think that's great. I think that was so deserved. That is always the path I choose in the game. I think they did a great job of that. The two girls who acted these characters had amazing chemistry together, and it felt so natural and so on point. Okay, their acting is like whatever at sometimes, but I think for the most part, their acting is like on point, and they did a good job. I was very immersed in the movie, I really enjoyed how faithful it was to the game, and I love Before the Storm. I think it's underrated. Everyone, talks about the original Life is Strange, and they kind of mention Before the Storm. I'm glad they cut that guy character. I can't really remember his name at the moment, but he was kind of needless to the story, and the way they cut around him was very clean, and it's just like stuff like that just like kind of slows it all down. Just makes it rapid fire. You get all of the beats of the story. Every important bit is there, and they cut the fat just to make this nice, lean sandwich of a Life is Strange film, and it's really great. It's just overall it feels super well representative of the original product. This is how you make a video game movie. It felt like that with the original, but there was definitely some corners that they cut, and that was very apparent. The Mr. Jefferson stuff, for one. They actually circle back around to that in this movie, and they show Nathan kind of getting into photography, and they show at the very end him and, oh, spoilers by the way, him and Damian Merrick's thing, which they made more of a Jefferson thing. They didn't have the character of Mr. Jefferson, so they made Damian Merrick the Mr. Jefferson character. So, like, when he knocks them out at the end and they're in, like, that... It's supposed to be the old mill, you know, or whatever. But when they're there and they're tied up and he's, like, taking pictures of Chloe and you're like, oh, okay, they're using him as a substitute for Mr. Jefferson. I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought, okay, this is a cool little twist on that. You cut the fat again, you know, you did a good job representing that angle, and that way it kind of makes sense because Damon Merrick is a really fucked up individual, so it makes sense that Nathan would take on some of that, and you know, that's how Rachel dies in the end, you know. So I think all of that is just really well done, and her dad, Chloe's dad, who was already a great part of the first movie, a very small part of the first movie, but he was a great actor in that movie, comes back and he reprises as the, you know, ghost, or the, I don't know what you want to call it, the vision, of William there, and, he does just a phenomenal job the whole movie. I was really floored, I was really wowed by, just how well this held up. I think I only ever watched this one, like, once or twice. I mean, I think I only ever watched the other one, like, once or twice, but I kind of had forgotten how... I don't want to say how much better, because it is, but also, I don't want to knock down the first one. The first one is great, but how much more accurate it was, and just how much more it captured the original Before the Storm there. I just love it. I think it's great. I think it's a perfect representation of that game, and as a video game movie, it stands as a great piece of video game film crossover there, you know? Like, we don't have a lot of good ones of those. We're starting to get some, but, like, this is definitely... And fans made this, you know, in my own backyard, in my own state, you know, like, 3 hours from here, or 2 hours from here, or whatever, made this. Like, that's just crazy to me. I just love that. I love that somebody did that, you know? They did such a good job, too. I really love it. You know, and then, like, the soundtrack and stuff was good, again, this time. Of course, no bros at the end, but, you know, that's one of my favorite parts of, Before the Storm there is the ending. But they did do that kind of, sort of that montage or whatnot, in a sense. We saw pieces of that there. They went some interesting angles, like they had Rachel's mom die, like, at the end, so she never gets to reconcile with Rachel, but, like, Chloe sees her, like, as a ghost or something, and so there's that. And she doesn't tell Rachel. That's kind of... I always hated that ending in the game, you know, where you don't tell. I just think that's really fucked up, even if, you know, you gotta tell her the truth, because it's just gonna come out down the road, or maybe not. I don't know, you know, Rachel, maybe she doesn't make it that far to find out the truth, but, I don't know. You know, it's just, at the end of the day, I think this film really nailed it, you know, knocked it out of the park. Like, even visually, like, when they do, like, the costumes for the play and stuff, they look really on point. Just all of the dialogue and the acting and the actresses and the actors and stuff, the cast, that is, just did a really good job. I think it's a really good... I mean, it's a prequel. It's not really a sequel to the other one. I said a sequel earlier, but, you know, I think it's a really good follow-up to the other movie, and it really represents Before the Storm. I wonder if they, like, are gonna make a True Colors movie. I mean, I doubt it, I guess, because I haven't seen them make it yet, and they haven't really announced anything like that, but... And I haven't even played True Colors. Or Life is Strange 2! I forgot about that one, which also is great. That'd be kind of a complicated one to do, though, with the changing set design and whatnot. I don't know, that might be doable. I have no idea. Maybe... I feel like those would be a little bit more difficult, though. Oh, Steph in the movie is great, too. Yeah, she's in there, and she does a great job. So... you can kind of... You really can read the emotion on all of these characters' faces and stuff. It's very good. It's very well done acting. For fans of the game, especially, you're just gonna get a lot out of this. I would say it's highly recommended for anybody who's actually played the game, because it is a great retelling and a great adaptation of that game. It's in my opinion, it's pretty much flawless as an adaptation. I think they did a really great job. I really love it. You know, like, I always complain about 2.5-hour movies, but in this case, you're taking what is essentially maybe a 10, 15, 20-hour game and cramming it into 2 hours, and they kind of do each act, you know, it's like a 3-act structure because there was 3 episodes. They kind of do each one within like a third of the movie. So I thought that was really well done, you know, and they moved around stuff, like I said, to make it better. They added some stuff to make stuff make sense from the first one. Overall, it's just great, you know, and they even had some of that farewell stuff in there. I thought that was good. You know, I don't have too much else to say about it. It's just a great adaptation, which I've said 100 times now, so you get the idea. So if you love Life is Strange Before the Storm, go watch this. I mean, brava to these people who made the movie. They did a really good job, and the fact that fans made this too is just incredible. I mean, these people are super talented, so I hope that they're still doing well with their films and whatnot, so... or whatever they're doing these days, I don't know. Haven't really kept up. I think I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel, but I don't really remember what they've been up to, so... but yeah, in terms of a video game movie, I think I gotta give it a 10. I mean, I don't really see any flaws with it. If it's not a 10, it's a really high 9, like a 9.8 or 9.9, somewhere in that range, you know. I think I'm just gonna give it a flat 10, but still, holy shit, like, you know, really good. Like, super good, like I was saying, so... all the aspects of it are really good. And just an enjoyable movie to watch, too, if you know, like, what's going on there. And you feel the emotion, you know, throughout. And all the scenes that you felt the emotion of in the original game there. And there's a lot of emotion in Before the Storm, so I'm glad they captured that, you know? Just think it's really good. It's really well done. So, thumbs up to Before the Storm, Dawn, the movie. And until next time, stick around for more reviews, underrated games, movies, etc. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Jay-Z.